Welcome back to Factorio, building the Hyperbase, where the Hyperbase is very large, somewhat larger, I guess, than... Ooh, that's interesting, this is finished. Somewhat larger than a megabase or even a gigabase. My last base I considered a gigabase, so we're going larger than the 6K per minute science under vanilla production. That is basically the intention of this base. We'll be more specific about those goals in the future, but that will do for now. What I want to do, starting this episode, is get a solar train up and running. Now, the solar train... well, let's just see things for starters. Let's get a little bit more rail on me for the moment. 400, maybe 500 rail. We're just in the zone there. There's a couple of resources from over here that we're going to need on this train. I'm just contemplating whether I am going to get them over there by bot, which I'm kind of a little reluctant to do, but I guess it's probably not that much. In a way, I'd probably prefer just to throw them on a belt and send them down here, but we will see. I don't really like the idea of a constant stream of little stops here, but it's kind of... it's kind of what we're going to need to do, unfortunately. Let's clear out signals, first of all, from here. Whoops, you go back down there, and place another one of these ones. So what sort of stop do I want for solar? I'm thinking that I want a slightly bigger train. Yeah, quite a bit bigger actually than that. A 252 I think is what I'm going to go for. Which means we will need 4 of those and 5 of the wagons. Because we have a slightly elongated engines here, we need to sort of go round a little bit to accommodate this. We're finishing off techs that are not that important for this plan. Or for this playthrough. The Hyperbase doesn't really need the military techs. We have no biters in this world, so we don't... yeah, that's why the Hyperbase doesn't really need the techs that are... that we're in the process of researching. These ones along here. That's mainly what our starter base is doing. Actually, let's get a... I should have actually asked for some stations, because I do build them there, but never mind. A single station doesn't take that long to build. Now, why a 252? Well, it's basically so that regardless of which direction this train is going, and remember the discussion around this one, how that should have been in the middle, or regardless of how this train is going, this should work. And actually what I really want to do is probably back up a little bit. There's no need to have the station quite as far down there as we do. Not that there's any huge advantage in this. We are generating our solar at a rate that's not that fast. So we have 10 of these machines, so it's basically 1 a second of each of the panels. The panels are the main limiter because we'll use actually slightly less of these. I think I downloaded my pattern there. So you need almost 800 of these, and if it's 1 a second, you're getting up towards 13 minutes to build out a single one of these. So that's quite a few. You need about 20 to get a gigawatt, I seem to recall. So 792. The power output 60 kilowatts. We can quickly do that math. 792 times 60. It's 47,000. So those are basically megawatts. 47.5 megawatts. If you multiplied that by 20, it's actually about 22 or 21 to get a gigawatt. So it's not being built that quickly. But the general idea would be, for example, actually let us get some filter stack inserters so that we can actually set this up. Well, try not to hit the power infrastructure on the way through. Here we go. So I want filter stack inserters. I know I'm making them. There's probably no more than about 50 there. I don't actually need 50, but I guess that's what it's going to give me. You know what? Let's get rid of that. And it will take the stone off me immediately, because that gets used in the creation of rail. So what I want to do is basically filter stack inserter. So there. Oh, they need some fuel, doesn't it? Let's grab some fuel out of the front. I've actually finished a tech in the amount of time that I've been mucking around. We'll get to that in just a moment. Change this guy's name to solar load. Go to solar load. There it is until circuit condition for now. That makes it a little bit easier to visualize where these things go. So filter stack inserters there, and there. You can filter out the solar panels. You can be batteries. Accumulators is what I meant, of course. Are you getting that? Let's just give it to you directly. There you go. And this one here is going to need a measured amount of some other products. What are these other products? We need oh, that doesn't actually have the radars in it, does it? That's unfortunate. Right, let's find a spot where I can lay this down. amend the pattern. That's what we want. Let's create a new blueprint. Always get that one again if I needed it. Is that where I wanted it, or do I want it in the middle? Does it matter that much? Might do. Oh well. I'm committed to this now. If it doesn't work, I'll change it. That is what I actually ran with in the Gigabase. So something of that nature, but I'm just not sure if the radar was moved, but it should work nonetheless. Let's get some more tech happening. There aren't very many of these to go, but we might as well just get them out of the way. So this build over here, we may end up extending it, so I'm going to go straight up for the moment with the supply of those materials. Little car needs to move. Now I could make a point of splitting off what we need, but it's probably not really necessary. What I could do instead is probably just put a splitter here. So half goes straight down here, and we'll go into the respective respective machines. Now, so the things that we need are radars. We need quite a few substations, and we need some power. How far can we get from there? Perfect. So these things stack to 50, so basically we're going to get 2,000, which is enough to make 2.5 of these things, 2,000. So we need kind of 3 stacks of these guys. What else do we need? We need, well, say 10 of those. That's enough for 2 stacks. And we need, what else? We need 1 radar. And that's the entirety of the other products that we need, so we don't actually need 3 of those. Do I want to just make these requester chests and create a series of bots to travel all the way over here? Kind of the answer is no, but it's definitely the easiest thing to do. Just have to give it power. And we need some, oh, I don't need 50 of those. We need some requester chests. Probably not 50 of them, but we'll get 50 of them anyway. There we go. I'm not sure if I am making radars over there just yet, so that's something we're going to have to add into here. Okay, you can be substations. Oops. You can be roboports, and you can be radar. And let me just check if I am making radar over there. I don't really like bots traveling all this way. I was trying to keep this fairly small, but for this one purpose I guess we can. Yes, we are making radars. Good. So that will fill up with our material for our solar, because we're going to expand power directly using solar. We are not going to be doing it using nuclear at all in this, well, nuclear power at least. We may create a nuclear infrastructure for the nuclear fuel at some point. They're taking their time. How are we going down here? Yeah, it's going to take a while to fill one of these trains. And there's easily other ways we could do this without using the filter inserters. We could use these guys and actually filter on the splitter. There's probably some value and merit in that, in fact, but it doesn't really matter. Either way will work. We need to get some coal down here. So I guess I will do a split off about here. And we will run some coal down to these trains. I might just move this one either forward or back one. And finally, power up the front so it gets loaded with coal. So this part's probably full already. Yes. Oh, no, because they have... What? Are there no substations getting built? There may not actually be substations getting built. We better build those. Ooh, another tech. Running out fast. There's only these 3 left before we're on infinite researchers only. depending how we're going, it is quite possible that we will do infinite researches using this database. Wow, that's not very much iron, is it? No, because iron gets shredded down here. Are we running short of supply somewhere up here? No, but we possibly need to upgrade this to steel. Steel furnaces and red belt. Yeah, it's just getting hammered. Okay, but that's not the key concern right now. Where I did power, I only put in the medium poles and the big poles. We haven't actually deployed the substations just yet, so that is something that we will have to do down here. Substations, or on the other side. What do you actually need for your substations? You need copper, steel, and advanced circuit. Copper, steel, and advanced circuit. Okay. That means we are going to need copper. Actually, I could have achieved that with a normal belt. A normal yellow belt, but that's alright. Oops. So we've got room for only one there at the moment. I guess let's move that out. So there's room for two. Copper might have to be moved back to there, so that that one can skip over. Steel, copper, substations, and advanced circuitry. And you can go into a chest. Let's get some power. And you can be set to connect to the logistic network, and substations are less than 50, then build. So that should start building quite a few of them so that we can load up our train. And so that's the basic setup to get our train loaded up. What we're going to do now is advance this up to here, and we'll start using or spreading out into this area where there's desert, which I don't really want to be running over, but we can build a massive solar field up here, so that's the plan. We might want those, but for all I know there's something even better just here, but whatever, we've got to put it somewhere, so that's how we're going to do it. But I'll make a quick cut here as I have an appointment to get to, and finish this episode in the other side. And continuing into our second part, where we are going to look at actually laying down our solar. What we need first of all is a blueprint deployer. This comes from Recursive Blueprints. I think we only need one. Let's just build our own. And then we need these things and these things. Let's just give ourselves a little bit of wire and a constant combinator. We can still build more, so that's a good sign. I'm going to request in some stations because I don't need 10 right now, but I do need some. And I'm going to request in some rail just to make sure we have some. And that will just about do me for now. Oh, these guys probably have nowhere to take that stuff, actually. So I should probably actually give them a rubbish supply, but we'll worry about that some other time. We'll jump on this one, which is our little go anywhere train. It can go up as well as down. We're going to go here, and then we're going to head up to around about here, and then we'll set the wheels in motion. So let's go manual and head off. What do we call the station? Main base. Okay, that's good. I think it's safe. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. I haven't just... oh, that's a problem. I haven't just changed hemispheres. I need to drive on the left-hand side of the road. So let's do that. Head straight up here. There's probably a few signals there that could do with some amendment. And once we get to this part, we will return to our supposed good rail. And head up until we have cleared the confines of the starter base. I didn't check exactly how long I had spent in the first segment getting our solar train ready, but we will do what we need to. You can go in there for the moment, and you need to clear out some of that stuff, and let's carry on. I don't actually know how much rail I have on me. I still have a bit. We don't really need to go much higher than about here, so where do I want it is really the question. I could go right, I could go left. Might actually go left. Now, what I could do is drive out I am going to need to find what this considers the center of this, because you can, with this recursive blueprint mod, you can basically define the coordinate system based on a wooden box for some reason. I'm not quite sure why Dave McW went for a wooden box, but he did, or a deployer chest, which is a special chest that we built, or just the center. So we're using the center. So that is something that we're going to need to determine the location of. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant this for the moment, so that I have a rough sketch. Now, these are all 2 by 2 entities, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, we don't even need to do it that way. We can just do it this way, counting the one in the center. There are need 26 2x2 entities. So it's 52 units to the center, which would mean that it's 104 by 104, so 52 should get us to the center, more or less. Let's just take that out now. Oh, and this one. So I guess what I am after here is how far down this way do we go? Maybe something like about here. I don't actually know how many lengths that is. But I would like a train stop there with. Do I have? I do. Good. Unloading. Maybe it can go on the top end. 1, 2. Maybe those ones should be stack inserters. Sorry, filter stack inserters is what I specifically meant. Something like that into passive provider chests. And then I guess everything is going to happen from this point. And we are going to need a roboport. We're going to need power for all of this stuff, so let's bring some power over. I don't care whether the signals are being carried or not, although maybe in future I could think about creating some sort of controller for the mechanism that works remotely from the base. That would be kind of cool. Okay, there's our power. How many techs? We've only got these 2 techs left, so that's 1,000. That one is 2,000. We'll do the 1,000 first, I guess. Oops. How about you? Oh, we don't have a name on this yet. Let's change that to solar unload. And for the moment, let's add solar unload to this. Right, substations. I'd like all this to be covered by a substation. If I had some more, it'd be kind of handy, wouldn't it? Maybe one more. There we go, and we probably need another one of these as well, so that all of those are covered by this guy. So there's basically one slot in here, which I think we deploy this into, and then we use a we basically give it a signal. So a constant combinator is one way to give it a signal. And the sort of signals you can give it a construction robot with a 1 signal, and it will immediately try and deploy this thing. which I guess means output construction robot 1. If we give, let's turn it off for the moment. If we give that signal to this and we turn this on, that's what happens. You basically get the whole thing deployed around that as the center, but that actually helps me because it tells me where the center is. So what I want to do is I want to raise this whole thing by 52 plus whatever leeway I want here, which would be another 2, so that would be at least 54, maybe 56. So we need to enter an X and a Y coordinate. Now there is a command for deconstruction as well. Oops. Oh, it's constantly regenerating this signal, so I actually have to turn that off for this to be able to deconstruct. That's clearly how that part works. And that's okay. We haven't come across anything to completely stump us yet. Boom, boom. So one thing I'm not 100% sure of is do X and Y. Whoops, I don't need to be in there. Do X and Y go up or down? I'm assuming we want a minus Y. X and Y. I'm assuming we want minus 56 as the Y. And X can be 0 for the moment. That actually moved further than I expected. Did I miscalculate? Oh, I've added the middle part in, so maybe maybe it should have been 54. What I actually want to do is tell it to deconstruct the area first and then construct. That would be better. So minus 54. That's better. 1, 2, that seems to be 3 away. If I wanted it just 2, it looks like that should be an odd number. Oh. Yes, don't do that while this whole mechanism is on. It's not going to give you the desired result. Daylight would be good too, wouldn't it? Never mind. Daylight would make getting rid of these things easier. For sure. We'll stop fumbling over this fairly soon, I hope. Alright. So that is your X and your Y as expected. Y should be negative. If X was also minus 52. On. We've moved all of this. There's room for a 2x2 there, which is okay. So we can turn that off at this point. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. Now, how far is that? 44 and 7. Okay. So that could be why we've miscalculated slightly. So that's actually 51. So 102 is the... it's 102 by 102. So, what I need to do is create some fancy logic now to make this useful. 102. Let's get, I guess, arithmetic combinators. Because the idea is we will place one, we'll tell the bots to go and build it, then when we think the bots have finished building it, we'll place another. Let me just check what the instructions are for the deconstruction. It deploy, so it looks like you just send a deconstruction signal with the width and the height and the starting location. So the width and the height I think should be 102, 102. Let me get another constant combinator. So if you had a deconstruction planner, which does still exist, a deconstruction planner, a width of 102, a height of 102, and if we copied the x minus 52 and y minus 53, minus 52 minus 53, and you get connected up. We should be able to selectively go, alright, turn you on. You should be off. Now we turn you off, turn you on, and nothing. That's not what we were expecting at all. Do we actually have to remove this from here? It shouldn't be getting a signal that has anything on it. That's off. Right, let's do this a slightly different way. Turn you off. Now you can go direct. See if that makes any difference on. No. have the differing effect that we wanted it to. Right, off. This one, if we undeploy that and turn you on, at this point what do we have? We don't appear to have anything. And that is because the blueprint for deconstruction needs to have a -1 value, not a 1 value. Okay. Go off, you can be a -1. Now we turn you on, and what's happened? You have wiped out this area as we would have expected. I do still have one of those, that's good. Because we also had the 52 signal double up, which is why we have this one here. The X and the Y doubling up. Final tech on the tree before infinite research. Been marked for deconstruction, yes, good. Okay, so the thing is, I want to create an X and Y signal that are not part of these. It looks like my width and height signals are fine for now. So I guess one thing I want to do is check on how this train's going. You've got 1.5k. It's probably got quite a long way still to go then, yes, because that can take 2,000, so it should be 4,000 before it's actually going to be there. Oh, and I need a radar here to see how well things are going. Batteries coming down here. A little bit slow. We probably do want to double up the batteries. Kind of what I guessed we knew all along. When they're not being used here, there will be a bit more for use in here. I don't think it's causing us a delay though, because we have, or maybe it is, yeah, we have quite a lot less accumulators, so the battery production actually is causing us a bit of a delay. I was going to bring that train up, but I guess what I will do is get another constant combinator, get out of map mode. You can go here for the moment, and you can have an X and a Y of 102 because we know that's the width and height of our guy. And then what I want to do is create a counter. Which we'll probably need another well, I could have used this constant combinator, I suppose, but we'll send a signal to here, this will be each's plus 0 output each, and no, we need to multiply by -1. Need to multiply by -1. So what we want to do is get an initial value on our counter. So this will be our counter, in fact, which will be each plus 0 output each, and U can be C for counter with a value of 1. The idea is green, say, to the beginning, red to the end, and carry that signal over to here with a green feedback on yourself. So if we activate U, we have a 1 signal here, and we can pulse a change to this. Now, 1 we'll take this C value and we will multiply it by these guys, no, well, that's going to change both of them, isn't it? I don't want to change both of them at the moment. Let's say, let's get another, oh, I do have some up here, so I'm actually running out of room for all of this mathematics. This can be the input value C divided by 10 set, and the output can be D. So this can get a feed from here. Now the point of this is I want to do 10 across, and then we'll start incrementing D, and then we'll go up and do the next layer. X and Y should probably be negative if we're going to go up. Can always multiply them by -1, I suppose. So then we need an arithmetic here, which will be taking the value of C, C multiplied by X, output X. We haven't got the value of X yet. That is not behaving how I want it to. How did that get X? Needs to be red. Still has X's on it. That should have been red. C is off, good. Each plus 0 output each. Create our memory cell. Turn C back on, and we'll have a 1 there. Now let's use red so there's no feedback. Just to be sure, I'll use a different color from here. That's not picking up anything. This is calculating out a 102x, so that's good. And this 1D should be multiplied by y. D y y, and you can go like so. No, let's not do that. Let's change that wire to red. And get a green wire from over here. So there's no mixing of signals. And that's got a 0y, which is what we want. And this one can be multiplied by -1. Each is times -1, so it heads off away from the base. Set. Output each. And you are going to... oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I suppose that's right. That is what we want. And now we've got to work out how we're going to get from deconstruction to the construction. I don't think I have to have this out, actually. I think I can have that in there. And we can generate... do I even need to worry about this initial offset? I probably don't. I probably do, actually. Maybe it needs to be a positive 50. And positive 49. Y a positive 49. Oh dear. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. Oh dear. I must have had the construction thing on at the time and it didn't have the other signal in it. That's rather annoying. Guys, I think I'm going to pause it here and try and get the rest of this sorted in over between episodes, and once we have the final thing we'll run through it then. We were sort of getting there, but we lost it just at the last minute. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this slightly hilarious ending, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. Bye bye for now.